Okay, class, let's get going. I'm Mr. Bednor's. Topic is the 20th century. Explain how the last 50 years have been influenced by the post-Cold War era. So, Israel, the United Nations created...
All right. I'm the real Mr. Bednor's. Get out of here. All right, let's get this going. This is our last board's AP World History class. United Nations created the State of Israel 1948 and immediately went to war with 6 Arab countries surrounding Israel. Israel withstood the 1948 war and expanded its borders. 1967, a 6-day war in which Israel took even more land surrounding its country. In 1977, Israel and Egypt signed an agreement over land. This all led to the formation of the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, which tries to reclaim land that was taken. The Gaza Strip, West Bank, and the Golan Heights are still areas today that have violence on a daily basis, and this is still a very tumultuous area. Now we're talking about Iran. Iran in 1925, the Shah begins to rule a newly founded Iran, begins to modernize and westernize the area with the help of Western countries. As time progresses, many Muslims did not agree with this move, and in 1979 the Shah was ousted in the Iranian Revolution. Ayatollah Khomeini reversed all progress, then led Iran into a religious war with Iraq. Iran was primarily Shiite and Iraq was primarily Sunni, and during this war millions of people died between the two countries. During this time, some Americans were taken hostage for more than a year but finally released, and they were workers at the embassy. Now, Iran is still considered by the West as a threat, but the fact that oil in the Middle East plays a huge role in the geopolitics of the region. Now, to finish out the 20th century, talking about globalization, increasing amounts of terrorism since the end of the Cold War has forced countries to focus on containment of any type of terrorist activities. One incident that took place during the 1990s was Iraq invades Kuwait in August of 1990 by Saddam Hussein. NATO, the United States, fight back in the Persian War and liberated Kuwait and put Iraq into check. But 10 years later, there were more issues. In 2003, NATO once again went in to remove Saddam Hussein from power. In 2011, the United States finally left Iraq, but this created a power vacuum in Iraq and northern Syria, which would eventually lead to ISIS, which is still a problem today. Now, the Taliban. The Taliban was a form of government that was created in Afghanistan. Afghanistan was invaded by the Soviet Union in the early 1980s. The United States aided freedom fighters in Afghanistan that then turned into a civil war after the USSR left in the 1990s. The Taliban was left the ruling party in Afghanistan, but they had a very brutal, harsh Islamic law. Osama bin Laden lived in Afghanistan. He was a Saudi-born leader of Al-Qaeda. He fights a holy war against the West and the United States for invading the Middle East during these two Gulf Wars. So many of the soldiers were stationed in Saudi Arabia, which is considered a sacred place for most Muslims, and no infidels should have been there. And so Osama bin Laden was not very happy with that, and that led to 9/11. 9/11 takes place, and the worldview on terrorism begins to change, and at all costs stopping terrorism. Now, world trade, as the world became more diverse, trade increased. You had the likes of like NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. You had the European Union, where the monetary changed to the euro. The rise of China as a capitalist country, as well as India, and you had the rise of global warming issues that are still plaguing all the nations today, and then the information age of the computer age has greatly increased just within the last 10 years. So remember,
History's no mystery. Take good notes.
See ya.